Are we on? All right. Hey, good evening, and welcome to our 2025 Spring Perryton Junior High Band Concert. In front of you is the beginner band. They're going to start us off with 3 pieces this time. We only did two at the winter concert. That's more to just get them accustomed to their instruments. But we do have 3 here. Throughout the night, we will give a few awards here and there. I do not have to be physical. I don't have like the physical actual paper yet because I ran out of cardstock and I didn't want to give some of them pieces of paper. So we will give out the physical awards on Wednesday because 8th graders will not be here tomorrow, so I want to make sure they get their awards same time as everybody else. But we will recognize them, have them stand, clap for them. But they will get awards later. And that's also just save a little time so they don't come back, stuff like that. But we do ask, make sure you please silence cell phones during the performance. You're welcome to take pictures, please try to make sure there's no flash. And we hope you enjoy. The first piece that they're going to play is going to be called Dragon Slayer by Rob. Alrighty, thank you. Okay, so I want to go ahead and, in between studying all the awards, like I think we usually do, kind of space it out a little bit. So first we want to start and recognize a few beginners from our third period class. That's at the beginning of the day. That is our French horns, our trumpets, and our flutes. And these awards are just kind of for those who kind of above and beyond. We have a lot of wonderful students. We could definitely give out a lot more awards than we are. But we just want to really recognize that they've really gone above and beyond, met our expectations, and even exceeded them. So first off, from third period, on French horn, Jesus. Sit. Yeah, that's right. Riley Merkel. Yeah. On trumpet. Is it? Yeah. Organized. And then we're going to flute. We have Blair Cornell. Unfortunately, she can't be here. We have family emergency. Isamar, unfortunately, she's not here. She's awesome though. Please look at a round of applause. One last group I wanted to recognize real quick before we keep going. So this year we had kind of the interesting circumstance of only having one, well we had two beginner percussion, one moved away, so that means we only have one. So I do want to mention that we have several awesome eighth graders that have stepped up, not only percussionists, but have stepped up and helped with our percussion section. So they look a little older because they are. But thank you all for helping the beginner band be successful this year. All right, and our next piece is going to be a arrangement of Star Wars, mostly the main theme from episode 6. That's kind of made a little more attainable for some beginner level students, so we hope you enjoy. Alrighty, thank you very much. A few more people to recognize before our last piece. We are going in section order. Usually we go in short. Today we're doing class order. So next that brings us to our 6th period class, which was clarinet and percussion. And I wanted to recognize 2 clarinet players. Honestly, that class was great. I could probably give award to all of them. But I decided on 2. It's going to be Jaslyn on the barrel. Yeah, Soccer Band, you start lining up there. That's fantastic. And the next one, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried about him at first to start the year. It started a little rough. I remember when I tested my instruments, I was like, let's just go with clarinet, see what happens. And he's worked really hard all year. He's honestly kept up flawless with the rest of his class, and let me talk out over the car. And then, lastly, even though he's the only one, I mean, he definitely deserves the award. I know Mr. B says he's worked really hard all year. And it's a little bit of a weird situation where you're kind of just one-on-one almost every day. But, I mean, he's done amazing. He's progressed super fast throughout the year. And that is our one actual beginner percussionist back there, Julian. Next up in the period, Ms. Gonzalez in the saxophone class. Wanted to recognize, I don't know if he's here right now, unfortunately he's like injured his arm, so we can't play, actually be up here. But that's Hyro on saxophone. And my low brass class, that's a fun class. Very smart young gentlemen. I wanted to recognize, had two, honestly, probably could do more, decided to go with two, just to emphasize the class, and that's going to be Mateo Villa on top. And then Alex Martinez on you. They're shy. Yeah, and we're going to close out our beginner portion of the concert with Dark Beginnings by Randall Cambridge. Really cool piece, found it last year. I played it last year's beginners, and if you like it, we did it again. It's basically a bunch of little nursery rhymes turned into the minor keys, so it sounds a little spooky. And that's where the dark in the beginnings is like, the nursery rhymes kind of beginner level pieces. But really cool piece. We really enjoy it. They enjoy it too, most of the time. And we hope you enjoy it. Afterwards, concert band, please make sure you wait for the beginner band to be all the way off stage. Then we'll have the concert band portion afterwards. They'll warm up, so there'll be a little bit of intermission. Yeah, they'll be next. So please enjoy Dark Beginnings.
Good evening, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Mr. Gonzalez, the Director of Bands here at Perryton ISD, and I have the distinct pleasure and honor of conducting the concert band here at the junior high. The concert band is classified as what we call non-varsity, and they compete at a different level than our varsity group. Unfortunately, due to certain circumstances, we didn't get to go to UIL this year, so they are happy to perform their UIL program for you tonight. Okay, the first piece we are going to do for you is called Stratford March. We hope you enjoy it. Stratford March, every year a band is required to play a march to keep the march tradition alive. So that is what we do, and that is one of the foundations that they learn that goes towards their TEES, which is the governing body, the governing curriculum that we have here in the state of Texas. Before we move on, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. D for some recognitions and awards for concert bands.
Also, I realized I never actually introduced myself. If you don't know me, I'm Mr. Zimmerman, the Perryton Junior High Band Director. Sorry about that. All right, yeah, got a few awards for concert bands tonight. Yeah, I'm taking over. I'm playing tuba. It's first time. All right, so first to award tonight is, and I forgot to write that last name here as well, but Eileen. The other person we wanted to recognize also on flute is Carla. They've made tremendous strides in their playing this year. They've been awesome to kind of grow. And I wanted to go ahead and do one more before the next piece. And I wanted to recognize an 8th grader. There's not often we get 8th graders in non-varsity bands, but sometimes we do. And sometimes it really benefits. This is one person who's really benefited. He's grown a ton. I wasn't sure how he was doing, and I actually got to hear him kind of play almost individually, and I was like, wow, that's something. And that is going to be Edward Mercado.
Thank you, Mr. Z. The next piece the concert band would like to perform for you is called Extreme. We hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. That piece is harder than it sounds. All right, it's written that way. It's written with lots of intensity. It's also written with lots of what's called cluster chords. So if it sounds like clashing, if it sounds what we call dissonance, that's written on purpose. All right, they did a great job with that. Turning it back over to Mr. Z with some more recognition. But first, I would like to give it up for Mr. Z for sitting in on this ensemble on tuba. As you can see, man, kids love Mr. Z. Here we go.
All right, yep. So yeah, sorry to the players that noise, probably hearing my two of those. All right, the next person was a trumpet player. I think they're not here today, which is sad, but I want to recognize Pedro. He just improved the whole time of the year, and I've been really impressed with him. Fortunately, he's not here. That's sad. Next person, Tom in the low section. I've been really impressed with his growth this year. He's kind of slogged it out. He's like really, he's really improved, really been trying to work hard, and it's definitely shown. That's going to be Adrian Navarrete on bass clarinet. All right, and last person we wanted to recognize is an 8th grader. I was a little afraid to put him in the band because I know it's a little bit of a downgrade from what I got through last year. But you know, I was like, hey, this is why. Really went to work hard on it, and he has really gone above and beyond with the skill set that we really wanted him to learn here. And he took full advantage of it. Now he's like, I play this part into this. So that is going to be Samuel Garcia. He's done tremendous work in going an album. I'll hand it back to you for the final piece. Yeah, Fog, gotta make sure you're line up your rows.
The final piece we have for you today, that the concert band has for you today, is called Main Court. Main Court is one of those band pieces that is well enjoyed and well programmed throughout bands across the country. Based on a Chinese folk song, the arrangement is attainable for bands of all levels. Okay, it's one of those, as I was saying, if you were at the high school concert last week, it's one of those you could call a band standard, meaning that if you've been in band, chances are you have played this piece once. That is, if you've been in band since 2002. So if you have been during that time, chances are you have played this piece before. So thank you so much for your patience. I hope you've enjoyed Concert Band. For our final number, this is Main Court.
All right, thank you for your patience. On stage now, we have our junior high symphonic band, and by UIL standards, this is our varsity group. That means they play a little bit of, they're expected to play a little above a level above the concert band. And we really did that. I pushed them a lot this year, but really great things to come out of it. We'll talk a little bit more about it later. Even though we didn't have like the accolades the high school band did, I feel like the pro group band was incredible. But the first piece we're going to play is called Kiev 2022. It was written as a sequel to the piece called Moscow 1941 that we actually played 2 years ago. But it was also written as a response in a way to give donations to the Ukrainians after the attack on Kiev in 2022. So I hope you enjoy Kiev 2022. All right, give for that. Yeah, I was really excited to be able to play that because we played Moscow. So we played Moscow 2 years ago when I had, I think it was like 12 trombones and 4 tubas. And whenever I heard that low brass, especially like in the spring, in the fall, I was like, I think we need to keep because legally we can't play Moscow until next year by UAL rules. All right, wanted to recognize a couple people from Body Band, little bigger bands, people. Honestly, I can't say enough good things, but the band has had a really fun year, and there's a lot of stellar players in this group. I'm gonna go down, it's mostly in this order. First person I want to recognize is Rainey. next person I want to recognize, I feel like doesn't get enough recognition, but she also tries really hard and is always wanting to learn and do a lot of things. So that would be Brooke Bunker. The amount of times we're like, oh yeah, no, this can I play it? So many times. But it's great. Next up, I want to recognize JC Henshaw on saxophone. He's really stepped up in a big way. And last one for this this kind of half, I'd like to recognize Carlos Sofoya on trombone. He's also a huge amount and has really been a great leader for that very young little brass section. I believe, aside from Rebecca, he's the only eighth grader. So, Jake's also an grader, he doesn't play brass instruments. But our next piece we're going to play is one that also played for your UIL program. It's actually a piece the high school played, I think, 2 years ago. And that was called Tripwire by Todd Hall. It's kind of supposed to give like secret agent spy kind of vibes. We hope that you enjoy that. Also for now. Alright, a few more people I'd like to, yeah, I hope you enjoy that. Sorry, I kind of tricked y'all at the end there. Actually, I'm not. Super fun piece, they had a lot of fun with that. Like I said, we didn't quite get the accolades that high school did. On stage, we still don't entirely know what happened. It like kind of just a fluke, weird performance because we played those pieces again like the day to like probably a week later, and everything was great. So had a little oopsie on stage, not a big deal, not disappointing them at all. It happens. Of course, one of the bad parts about band is that when it happens on stage, we only kind of like one time. versus like a football or basketball season where you have multiple times that season improve. So it happens when we're the things went on stage. We did, however, receive an excellent rating in sight reading, which is where they play a full piece they've never seen before. We get 7 minutes to rehearse it, and then we play. And the judges gave them all straight 2s on that, which is considered an excellent rating. I'd like to recognize a few more people. Those didn't really have any tongue twists on this list. We have one though. You might have heard of Killing It on Marimba this last piece. That's going to be Nathan Gurley. They put him on some hard parts. They've created with some hard parts. He's done an amazing job. He's back there kind of in the shadows. I don't know if you can see him. Next person we have also in percussion is Reggie Newman. She's done a lot. She's done amazing this year. She's done amazing this year. Next person we have 3 percussionists. One you recognize, Caleb Logan. Maybe the class, I'll talk after. But he stepped up a lot this year, I feel like, taking on a lot of kind of some few more difficult parts, and I feel like he's really having a leadership role, constantly helping, kind of commandeering, moving stuff, helping those stuff. So he's done great this year. I wanted to make sure I worked on that. Next is Riley Bechtold in the trumpets. He's improved a lot this year. Last year he was in concert band, so this was kind of a big jump for him. But he's improved and like really killed it. Kind of being a leader in that section of pretty young, overall young players and like 2 or 3 8th graders in that section. So he's done fantastic. We're super glad he was helping staff. Our last piece that we have for you is called Selections from the Greatest Showman. Great movie if you haven't seen it. I would suggest it. A lot of really cool music. Honestly, this arrangement kind of hard, but it's also fairly faithful. But I think did a really good job of it. I do want to just mention we have cut this a little bit into movements. So there will be a couple brief stops in the middle. We ask that you hold your applause until the very end. So just want to make sure we're winding down. And so we hope you enjoy the great show. All right. So thank you very much for being here. Definitely hope you'll be around for more of our concerts. You know, I know obviously I'm not going to keep everyone quiet. You know, we really hope they'll be around for a lot more concerts. I know some of them are going their own ways. My only hope for those kids that are not going to be with us next year is they have something they truly enjoy and they really excel at. You know, if they're going for sports, that's great. I support them. I just really don't want them to do a basketball game, see them on the bench, if that's what they really want to do. I want them to excel. So, hope you enjoyed. We'll be back next week with another concert. Real quick, I'm going to need some help tearing down the stage. BTO needs to set up pretty quickly for the events tomorrow night. So students, for sure, if y'all can help us get the stage torn down, and percussion, for sure, help you get your stuff back in. That would be fantastic. Otherwise, hope you have a great night, great summer, and see you next time.